Greetings from Westeros. We are the justified ancients of Ashai. I am Jonik Caliph.
And I am Era Tarek.
We are discussing the show A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Today, we are talking about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Episode 2 from Season 1, entitled Hard Salt Beef.
So let's discuss Duncan meeting the Targaryens for the first time.
It's like, meet the Fockers. Meet the Targaryens.
Dunk meets the Targaryens for the first time after he's been dejected by 3 High Lords to support him in his bid to be in the tournament.
He gets an idea, I can go to the top. And this kind of is like the movie Pursuit of Happiness, where a salesman who's supposed to go start from the bottom up says, you know what, I'm going for the top because I know that this is my best chance.
Sir Duncan the Bold.
It is one of the first times that he steps up and is very bold. And he sends Egg away, which Egg is more than happy and had asked to do that. And he wanders over to the castle of Lord Ashford. Mm-hmm. While there, he meets the first Targaryen. This is Aerion. And he is the short blonde hair, obviously kind of a jerk.
Yeah. His nickname is Brightfire. And I think his personality is supposed to be very bold, and he's young, has a lot of energy. However, he is known to be quite cruel, especially to people he sees beneath him. He has quite the reputation for that, and we can see it clearly as he meets Dunk. So when he comes upon Dunk, he assumes Dunk is the stable boy, which is kind of funny because when Dunk was riding his horse and he saw Egg, he assumed Egg was the stable boy. When Dunk said that he was not the stable boy, he said, okay, whatever, go fetch me a drink and a pretty girl. And Sir Duncan's like, no, I'm not a servant either.
So he wasn't those two things. And he says, I have the honor of being a knight, sir. To which Aerion replies, knighthood has fallen on Saturdays.
Close your insolent mouth.
And it's at this moment, it kind of reminded me of, there's a lot of young, blonde, bad guys we see in popular media. One that first came to mind was Malfoy from Harry Potter world.
Yeah.
We see, I think there's a lot of kind of characteristics of that. Young, privileged.
Arrogant.
Yes.
Rude.
Yes. And looks down upon those who may not be of full noble blood the way that they are. So, unfazed by that, he still must complete his mission. So, looking around, he notices that a maid uses a side door to go into the castle. And he, being a salt of the earth type person, he follows her up the steps. And first he comes to Lady Gwen Ashford.
We see Gwen first in the front of the castle. She is meeting her guests because she is Lord Ashford's daughter. And it is her name day. And the whole entire tournament is put on in honor of her birthday. So when the Targaryens arrive, she is out front with her father receiving. And when she spies Dunk kind of just, walking through the hallways, she gives him a warning that tensions are kind of high right now.
Tensions are high because 2 of the prince's sons are missing.
And this is the environment that Sir Duncan the Tall, despite knowing this, is a man on a mission and goes into the room anyway.
So after she warns him, almost a throwaway scene. She calls him stupid and she fakes punched him, right?
Maybe it's because she saw he wasn't going to leave when she was kind of like, this isn't the time. Okay,
I think the fake punch is a reference to Lord Baratheon's comment that tall people get punched a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
So
sure.
she leaves, and he is spying by the door, trying to figure out how he can enter. And that's when the Targaryens spy him, because he is large and not quiet, and bid him to enter their chamber.
I believe it was Prince Maekar that had spotted him, and he yells, "Hey, you! Why are you spying on us?" And Prince Baelor, who is the heir apparent, says to him, "Oh, he's not." He starts to plead for them to remember him. I think that was why he went in there.
Nice. Very well, sir. You are grateful. Now fuck off. You must.
He's like, "Please tell me someone here remembers him." And this is when Prince Baelor, the heir, steps forward and says, "I remember Sir Pennytree."
Because the way the lots were drawn,
Oh, okay.
he ended up he happened to be a sparring opponent of Sir Pennytree. And he asked him, what is the name of the gray lion?
And Duncan was able to recall that it was
the gray lion.
Now that Prince Baelor confirms that he knows that he did know Sir Pennytree, he tells the game master, "I don't have any problem with him entering the games if you don't have a problem." Now Duncan is officially part of the tournament as a participant, and he will actually be a knight, which is something we weren't sure he ever was before.
I'm going to the tourney then.
Yeah.
Take me with you, sir.
So it's very exciting news for Duncan, because he finally has someone remember him, and what an honor it to be then the heir apparent.
So what are your impressions of the Targaryens? The ones that we've
I think Prince Baelor left a really good impression on me. I found him to be the most pleasant Targaryen that we have run into so far. And I thought he was super kind. The other Targaryens that we have known, which were Daemon, which we saw in the bar or the inn at the last episode, was mean to him. He told him to stay hell away from me. And then he met Aerion, and Aerion treated him like a servant and was terrible to him. And then Maekar, when he met Maekar was like, pretty much like, "How do you remember these lowly people? Like, get out of here." And I think Maekar, a couple of times, was trying to dismiss and shoo Duncan out. However, maybe Maekar was in a bad mood because his two sons were missing. So we might be misinterpreting Maekar a little bit, but I'm not sure.
I see the different sides of nobility, and I think we see this in the Targaryens, both in the Game of Thrones world and in the House of Dragons world, where you see the different sides of the Targaryens. You see these are families that interbreed a lot, and they seem to develop certain characteristics through their lineage. And certainly, there's those who seek power, and then there are those who are noble, and those who have those who would be good leaders, right? Those have those characteristics that we like to see in a leader. I think you see that in Valarr, and how he has those qualities. He's been trained that way.
And for real royalty, we know that the heir apparents are groomed from a young age to take on the role. So that could make for a little bit of the difference between him and Maekar. And
we also, in the world of the Game of Thrones, that those who are not in line can develop jealousies, can develop, get a chip on their shoulder and so forth. And so maybe we see that a little bit in some of the other characters. Yes, in the real world, George R.R. Martin modeled his Game of Thrones, all those characters and the families, after the French royals around 1000 to 1100.
Royalty shows up at events, as PR stunts, to wave to the plebs, or the small folk, as it is called in the this universe, I don't know, to the small folk.
I don't know the right words.
They are different than the Targaryens 60 years ago who had dragons. And now that all the dragons are dead, you see the Targaryen family is trying to rule by PR instead of ruling by fear.
So my kind of last thought here about the Targaryens are going to what you said, how in the days before, and all the material for this series mentions how the days of the dragons, of actual dragons, are gone, but they are still in the memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a contrast there, and you can kind of, this series is really setting this up pretty well. It's setting up the Targaryens still have the memories of the dragons, and people have memories of Targaryens and dragons. Compare that with Duncan and how nobody remembers his master.
Oh,
And those are the days that formed his character. So we see in both cases that the families are alive in memories.
mm-hmm.
But the question is, where do they go from here? What happens now? And what do they take from their history that they can use in this new world? At the very end of the scene,
Mm-hmm.
we see Duncan turn to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And Baelor says, wait, you are not of Sir Penny Royal's blood.
Mm-hmm.
That means you need to have your own imagery, your own sigil.
And I made a short on the sigil and the different meanings behind the symbols on it. He chooses a elm tree with a shooting star above as the sun is setting.
So I think in this scene, we see him walk in unsure, not even officially a knight, and we see him leave, thanks to the Targaryens, we see him leave a proud knight with his future ahead of him. And subscribe. And follow us for more. Lots of good stuff.